going to be a quick video just recapping Carolina Drag Cruise, just my experience on it. If you want to see the whole event 3G video, I'll link it in the description. He has videos from all 4 days, which is really cool because as you'll see, I missed the second day. But racing got rained out, so that was good. But so first day we got down there Wednesday, went to the tech party, the tech check-in, got all that stuff out of the way, and then we went back, drove an hour to the track on Thursday, made my first pass. First time really being on the drag strip with a stick shift. So when the car was an automatic, I could go to the track and run high sixes and eight fairly easy. You know, I get a 6.7, 6.8. So, you know, I was assuming I'd be able to go sevens with a stick shift right off the bat, and I got humbled real quick. So stick shift racing's hard. So, but anyway, let me show you the first pass. So here's my first pass. All right, so we are here at Carolina Drag Cruise Day 1. Probably can't hear me because of the helmet.
Right lane, 845, 88 miles per hour, 840 for the little Falcon, 96 miles per hour.
So first pass, you know, I ran an 840 at 96 miles an hour, like a 2.360. So burnout sucked. Didn't know what I was doing there. You know, still trying to figure out what the car wants in the burnout. Me and my buddy looked at the data log, and you know, air fuel ratio and stuff was really good. So we decided, you know, it was a 4-day event, so we had talked about just doing one and done regardless. But I really wanted to try to get into the sevens, so we decided to go for another pass. And I had my laptop with me in the staging lanes, and I was looking at stuff, and I noticed that my clutch slipper was working on the first pass, but it never really completely locked up the clutch. It slipped a little bit the whole time, or so I thought. So made the decision to shut that off and shut the clutch slipper off, which it didn't work out the way I wanted. So here's the second pass, and as you can tell, you know, I completely bust third gear, and that's a bummer. You know, first day event, 2.5 years of work, lasted 16 seconds. after I broke the car, my wife and my buddy went to pick up the trailer, which was an hour away. So my buddy had a 2-hour round trip to come back and get me. And luckily my daughter's home from college. She stayed with me to keep me from moping too much, because I was ready to sell the whole mess, burn it down, get rid of it, maybe take up fishing as a hobby. But, the more thought about it, the more we talked about it, that transmission, that I was running, it had a ton of miles on it. I only paid $280 for it. And, the first pass it was fine with the clutch slipper working. And then the second pass it broke without the clutch slipper. So got looking on the internet while I was waiting on my buddy, and there's a few junkyards around that had AR5s in them. So pretty much decided we were going to call and see if we could find one. So for Friday morning we woke up, junkyards opened at 8. I was calling them right away. I found one for $500, an hour and a half south, which is the wrong direction, and I found one for $800 on the way back home. So we made the decision we were going to buy the $500 one. So me and my buddy hopped in my truck, drove an hour and a half, picked it up, drove an hour and a half back to where the campsite was, where we had the car. Put the transmission in my buddy's truck because the trailer was hooked in, and we pulled the Falcon back home here. So that was 3.5 hours from where we were. So we got here about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and started to swap out the transmission. We got our car ramps configured in transmission removal mode. So we got them backwards up front and sideways in the back just because the tires are so wide they don't fit. Mark's gonna work up top getting the trans tunnel out. I'm gonna get underneath, get the drive shaft pulled, and then we'll go from there. All right, we got Rattly Boy out. So non-happy. So we got it out. We got the new junkyard one in the back of Mark's truck, so we're gonna get all the FabBot stuff off of this one. All right, we picked up this fresh unit in South Carolina this morning. Supposedly 127,000 miles. So the last one had a lot more than that. So hopefully this one is in better shape. It can handle at least one pass Sunday at the drag strip. So we'll see. All right, we got all the FabBot adapter stuff switched over to the new transmission. Last thing we gotta do is just gotta get the QuickTime bell housing, get it back on, and then we're gonna try to stab this thing back in the car, and hopefully don't have issues getting that guy in the throwout bearing, or the pilot bearing. Sorry, that's the throwout bearing. But yeah, we'll get at it. All right, it's about 9 o'clock. We started at 4 o'clock. There's the old transmission. New transmission's in, clutch is bled, fluids on, shifters, short throw shifters on. Mark's in there, my buddy, he's finishing up the gas pedal. We're gonna slap a hood on this thing, get it off the jack stands or car ramps, and go for a test rip. So got the transmission swapped, did a test drive around the block at about 10 p.m. loaded it on the trailer at 10:30. We crashed, woke up at 4 a.m. All right, so it's out here, it's like 5 a.m. It's day 3 of Carolina Drag Cruise. So today's the cruise. Put a transmission in the Falcon. It's kind of hard to see, it's dark out here, but put a transmission in this thing yesterday and drove it around the block. So now we're gonna drive back down by the Carolina Drag Cruise, then drive an hour to the meet point, and then drive 110 miles. So we'll see how this transmission holds up. Drove back 3.5 hours to the campsite. Had about 15 minutes to relax before we had to jump in the car and drive an hour to the check-in for the cruise. So we missed Friday's event, and I'm technically out of the event because, I didn't turn in a time slip on the first day. But we decided we were going to go on the cruise. Went on the cruise, had an awesome time. There's Stacy Galloway, cool dude, kind of heading up the cruise and make sure we all stayed together and stuff. Had an awesome time. Had some good lunch. Had some, real scenic drives. And then Sunday was race day again. So Sunday, made the first pass granny shifting. My miles per hour were down like 12 miles an hour. I was only running like 82, 83 miles an hour because I was granny shifting so cautiously that I was losing all the boost. So no boost, it's a 5.3 with a cam. So with no boost, you're looking at 350 horsepower, right? So it ran at I think I ran at 890 at 82 mile an hour, but it didn't break. So we decided we'd go back. We're just trying to work on the 60-foot time in the launch, and car never really came around. I think part of the problem was the drag radials versus slicks, because the 17 inches have no sidewall. And, the car was just really lazy getting up on boost. The turbo spool's around 4,000 RPMs. And with me granny shifting, it just would never spool proper. So I'll show you some videos of that. And then, came home and now I have a list of things I need to work on, right? So I want to get the clutch slipper thing figured out. I want to get my slicks. Right now the slicks are on the Mustang rims. I want to get those back on my spare set of rims so I can go back to the track. And I also noticed I have an exhaust leak on the turbo flange. So maybe that's part of the reason it's so hard to spool. So we're going to figure out the clutch slipper, get some slicks on it, figure out the exhaust leak, see if we can get the turbo to spool a little better, and then we'll go hit up a testing tune soon. And I think my plan is, as bad as I hate to say it, is if I go to the testing tune and I'm going to rip on it, and if I break third gear again, I'm probably going to have to throw in the towel and go automatic. So don't really want to go automatic, but at this point, I really can't afford a T56 and that's what I really need. I just don't have the funds to support that right now. So I'm kind of debating if I should pull the AR5 out now while it's not broke and sell it and then build the Turbo 400, but I don't think we're going to do that. I really want to see if the slipper clutch helps, the Hitmaster, because I've got it. I bought the extra timer so it'll slip the clutch in every gear. And I really, since it survived the first pass with that enabled, and then I broke it the second pass, and then it made 3 passes on Sunday, but like I said, I wasn't being aggressive with shifting at all, and it survived all 3 of those with the clutch slipper going. So, so stay tuned. We're going to get all these little issues fixed, and we'll probably tear down the old transmission just to see the carnage of third gear busting, and we'll get back at it. So overall, had a great time at the event. It was my first drag and drive, and I felt like I've done a ton of driving, not much dragging. So hopefully next time it'll be better. I plan on, my buddy wants to go back next year and bring his car. So hopefully next year we'll get to go. And, I want to have a trailer by then, which I have an old jet ski trailer. So I want to build it into a little drag and drive trailer so I can have my slicks and a jack, some spare parts, and we'll go from there. But anyway, so we finally made it to the track. Wasn't the best results, but wasn't the worst. The car is still running since we did the transmission swap on Friday night. So plan is just to get more seat time in the car, figure out stuff, and then go back and hit it hard. So thanks to everybody that's still watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you got any tips for stick shift racing, definitely leave them in the comments. Reach out to me because I need help. I think, really looking back, I think it was probably a dumb idea not to use the slicks. But I was just really just out of time and didn't want to deal with having to swap them over every day and stuff. But, hindsight being what it is, that's what I should have had on the car instead of the drag radials. But, and also, the other thing I got to figure out is my 4-link. So I need to do all the math to see where the anti-squat line and all that stuff is that you have to do with 4 links, and get that figured out and go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll keep at this thing.